A scarecrow sits across from me as if there are matters to discuss. He has no face, he has no eyes, he is an empty husk. He tells me lies of golden prize as sand falls from his sleeve. I cannot move, I can't escape, I can barely even breathe. Upon this throne I sit alone, and here is where I'll die, because I'm the fool who took the jewel they call the devil's eye. In my late teens and early 20s, I had a keen interest in psychedelics. There was a period in university of around 6 months where I tried a sort of self-experiment. I used mescaline derivative, 2CB, once a week consistently to see the effect it had on me with long-term usage. Was there anything insightful gained from those 6 months? Well, that's difficult to say. Largely, I felt more mindful, disciplined, and attentive to reality and the people in my life. I wasn't a social butterfly, but I had meaningful relationships and strong enough boundaries to avoid influences I didn't value. I read The Kingdom of God is Within You by Tolstoy and continued my own creative writing alongside my undergraduate physics courses. And while I successfully passed the term with good grades, I ended up falling into a deep depression that following summer, unlike anything I've ever experienced. Perhaps I stayed too long on the mountaintop and had begun talking to ghosts, as Jung might say. When the depression did come, it hit hard. Towards the end of the experiment in late June, I was already showing quite severe symptoms. I struggled to have normal conversations, became emotionally flat, lost interest in most activities, and struggled to concentrate. It became clear I needed to stop experimenting with 2CB. So I stopped, but the depression stuck around. During the depression, I felt like I couldn't feel or express anything, as if there was an invisible 3-meter wet blanket suffocating whatever was going on inside of me. Everyone and everything was so distant. Reality was less real. One of the worst feelings was how aware of what a social dead weight I had become, but I was helpless to do anything to change it. Someone would share something positive in conversation, and I could only flatly reply. People would ask me if I was okay or if something was bothering me, and even though I was desperate inside, I couldn't do more than say I was fine. I would feel listless, tired, overwhelmed, yet unable to reset or refresh myself. No amount of time off or sleep helped. I often daydreamed about walking in front of a car, so I could just wake up in a hospital and have a fresh start. But I didn't want to die. I truly just wanted to wake up. I remember going home on a Wednesday after classes and laying in my bed with the blinds drawn and lights off at 4 p.m. in the late afternoon. It was early in the new fall semester and people were busy getting involved with clubs and making new friends, while I lay alone in the dark. There was a dull knot of dread in my stomach. I wished I could scream, yet the emotion was too buried to surface. It was one of the worst periods of my life from an internal experience standpoint. I was sick, chemically poisoned by my own doing, I suppose. Yet, the depression did eventually go away, maybe 6 months later or so. I remember feeling the inflection point. It was on New Year's Day after staying up the entire night on Beale Street in Memphis with my girlfriend. We were heading home and the soft morning sunlight of the new year felt warm on my skin. And for some reason in that moment, I had my first sense of well-being and peace in probably 7 or 8 months. A new year had arrived and the world was becoming again. Things felt lighter. I felt like I could rest. Reality had softened into being real again. And, even today, I'm very, very grateful that it did.